In this demonstration, we'll be looking at the setup of a parents' meeting. So to set up the parents' meeting, I simply go to my calendar and click the Add Event button. Clicking Add Event will then present me with a number of the meeting types, event types that I can set up, and you can see there the learning in progression. We've got parents' meetings under that category. So clicking within that area, I then select my parents' meeting. Now when I'm setting up the parents' meeting, let me just call it a standard parents' meeting name. There are a couple of options to be aware of. So firstly, you're going to be selecting which pods you want available for that parents' meeting. So I will choose my 8A class. In fact, let me call this parents' meeting for 8A. And you can now choose the booking window. So this is where the parents can select the slot with the teachers, which we'll get to see in a moment, but that you can say when the booking window opens and when it closes. By default, it will open immediately, and by default, it will close 10 minutes before the meeting start, the parents' meeting start, but you can adapt that with dates and times. You can also specify the reminder frequency, so you can be saying how often, every 5 days or every 3 days, that you want those reminders to go out. And then when the event comes closer, so after the 3 days, in this particular case of me selecting every 3 days, then every day a reminder will be set to those parents that have yet to book appointments, making sure that those are reminded. You can also specify the maximum number of appointments bookable per student. So by default, that's unlimited. They can book for all the teachers. You could specify the maximum number of appointments they can book. You can also select how many bookings per teacher, whether it's one booking or multiple bookings per teacher. So clicking that tick checkbox here will enforce that only one booking can happen with a teacher, even if that teacher is teaching multiple subjects. So those are the default options available. Then in terms of the timings, just the standard approach of setting up the event. So I'm going to choose it for Friday. I will choose it for a later slot. So let's call it 3 and make it a bit later as well, 3 to 5 or 20 to 6. I will choose this as a fully online one, although you can choose hybrid or in person as well. Select the room, the appointment length, and the buffer time between the meetings can be set as well. So the buffer time really gives you a bit of a breather before the next person comes to join the session, particularly with video online events. That is important. I can quite easily choose multiple days. So if I know in advance for that same group which days I want to be choosing, I can select to add another day. So in this case, I'm just going to save that draft, and now I can see the basic settings that have been all set up for me. So I can see the students that have been selected for that. I can, if this will be probably in the exceptional case, I can say, well, a particular number of students, so let's say Susie, Sebastian and Sally, they are available for the parents' evening, but they won't be selected for it in this particular case. So that's an easy way where you can choose a bulk of students that are linked to the pod, but then you can select which individual students there will not be taking part in that particular event that I've been set up, the one on the 20th of Feb. Looking at other settings, let me just save these changes. Looking at other settings which will make a lot more sense when we publish the event. So at the moment it's still in draft state. I can now customize which parents' meeting should be going live. So for example, I don't want the drama class, the drama parents' meeting to be happening. That's not appropriate, and maybe the French as well. Deselect that. So anything that is selected will end up being a time that can be booked with those parents. I can also within the screen select other pods to add to that meeting. So this can be quite useful. For example, if I'm wanting let me choose a random, my jazz pod, I'm going to be adding that to the list as well, where I can then select to say for particular clubs, less on the lesson side, but any particular clubs that I'm wanting to have invited to that parents' meeting can be added in as well. And there we can see the jazz has been added, and I can customize that exactly as I had previously. I can as well deselect certain individuals even within this. So for art, I only want to have the meeting with Katie Burrows, not with Trevor or anybody else. So that's 8Y and that's 8X. So you can really customize exactly as you need. I'm going to save those changes away, and then we'll be publishing that event. So click on the little kebab at the top and click publish. I want to select to email all the attendees so that they are aware of that meeting, that parents' meeting going ahead. So once that's published, I'm quite keen to show what the parent experience is like. So if I close that and I go to my parents view, because Clarissa was one of the students that was added in, and so as a parent, linking to Clarissa, in this case set up as one of my children. If I go to the school area and select on the parents meeting, so this will be the parents experience, there I can see that online meeting that has been set up. And I want to choose a manual scheduling, although it can be the smart scheduling to automatically find the times. And here I can see a wide range. I've got multiple children assigned to this, so that's why that scroll bar is quite long. But I can quite easily just be picking the times as I go, which is linked to the availability of the staff members. So I can just make sure that I'm choosing all the right times. This is 3:20 with Mrs. Chase and 3:15 with Mr. Blacker. So that can continue throughout, and I can do that with all my children in a very easy way. If I now pop back to my teacher view, we can then see that in action because those meetings have been already booked. So looking at my teacher account, there we see the parents' meeting set for the 20th with that class. Now if I can go into the appointments, I can see the bookings that Clarissa has made, so that's all made clear to me. What I can also do is book on behalf of parents as well. So a school could decide that maybe they had a conversation with the parent. They can then go in and say, for Dennis, click on the little kebab next to Dennis, I'm wanting to book the appointment on his behalf. And there I can book those slots. Now you can see where these other slots have already been taken. That's where I just booked for Clarissa. So that's why it's make sure that we've got clear schedules in place for those individuals, for those students. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a view of what it's like to set the parents' meeting up, where you get to choose the pods that are available to the meeting, to that parents' meeting. You can also add pods after you created that initial parents' meeting, where you can add various clubs, etc., and then publish those for the parents to then book those sessions in.